Well, good morning, Lamar. I'm pleased to be able to provide you today just a bit of an oversight from the district level regarding our professional development. This is our first opportunity this year to come together as a group and to meet. Unfortunately, I'm not there, but I guess in your case, this is maybe of a benefit because this video will be no longer than 15 minutes. What I wanted to do today was take time to talk about our weekly memo and to be intentional about each part of this resource for the sake of spending time in understanding and awareness. To begin, let's talk about the reason that this memo exists is so that there's a consistent place that things that you may need, access to information that's pertinent to your job or to the profession, is at a minimum each week sent to you again and again and again. And that's the reason that this weekly memo exists. It also is an opportunity for us to be intentional about ongoing professional development, knowing that each week, at a minimum, there will be something, whether it's a book, make a reference, you've seen these types of things. And so we'll kind of walk through this slowly, but not ridiculously slow so that we're just dragging our feet. So let's kind of dive in here this morning to just talk about the very basics. Obviously, there you can see the week. This is an important part, though. If you've ever missed a weekly memo and you want to go back to another one, you simply click on the click here, open up this weekly memo, and you can go back as far as when they first began. So let's look at what that looked like. Let's look at August of 2021 to see how much the weekly memo has changed. This is our first one that I did. Very straightforward. We had a week at a glance, we had upcoming events, and then I had a professional challenge. This was just a one-pager. So we've gone from one page back in 2021 to now a multi-page document. But anyways, that's how you can access historical parts. Right below that is our master calendar. To me, this makes sense. It's quickly accessible. If you want to know what looks like where, simply pull this up and you have access to our our calendar. Here we are, September the 29th. We come over here to September the 29th and we see that we have an in-service day, right? We already know this. That's why we're doing what we're doing. All right, so back to the memo. This is where we start talking about resources that are helpful for ourselves and for our students. This Colorado Educator Support, I had someone once tell me that you can call them and just complain, and they will absolutely just listen to you. So if you're needing to just vent, there's your number, 303-724-2500. Give them a call and tell them what's on your head and in your heart or whatever, and see what they have to share. But nonetheless, if you click on the free resources and dive into this Colorado Educator Support, there's a host of things that are existing here. I'm not going to click around. That's something that you can do. But that's the Colorado Educator Support line. All right. Directly below that is how we can help students. Now, I made mention of this in the district Zoom that was yesterday for all students, but this is what I was asking them to ask you about. If you have students that are interested in the Colorado Crisis Services, this is the information that I'm asking that you tell them. They can text TALK to 38255, or they can call this number here, or obviously they can visit the Colorado Crisis Services. So let's click on that for just a second. Stories. This is where I was able to grab that story right here about the student and their mom. By clicking on read story, this is what I read out loud to our staff and students yesterday. All right, let's go back now to our weekly memo. So obviously a very helpful thing. Key education dates are things that are coming up. Obviously, we know September is nearly ending, so don't forget to grab yourself a free Scooter's Drip coffee for about one more day. It's also Suicide Prevention Month and College Savings Month. Next month, obviously, will be October, and new key education dates will be populated there. Directly below key education dates is our Zello information. Now, this whole section is largely new this year, but there's two parts that are absolutely new. The teaching resources can be helpful. So if I'm an elementary teacher, we haven't even fully developed our Zello understanding yet. We're going to learn more about that today for grades K-5, which is super exciting. You can click here to learn more about our teaching resources. As part of your training today, you'll learn more about that for our K-12 or K-5 staff, For teaching resources for 612, same thing, clicking here. Zello and special education, Zello scope and sequence, lesson pacing guide. There's all sorts of things to dive in here. It can be a bit overwhelming, but you can see there's just loads and loads and loads of information. So as you learn more and as you become more comfortable in Zello, just know that that type of resource exists within there. How do you actually get to Zello to engage with it? Well, this is it right here. The single sign-on for teachers can be accessed by clicking here. So we click on this and we sign in using our Lamar account, and it takes us to our dashboard. Now everyone's dashboard will look a little bit different, obviously. If we're in the middle school, this is their dashboard. It's very likely that your screen over here on the left will look a little bit different than mine, but nonetheless, that's how you access Zello. This is a new information for our parents. This will be part of what we work to deploy to our parent groups next week as part of our lead up to parent-teacher conferences. So in anticipation of parent-teacher conferences, I'd like to draw your attention to this teacher resource page, parent resource page. This is where you can help parents make sense of just some very basics. Now we're going to do our very best to message to them, but there's no question that you as your student's teacher, their student's teacher, can likely inform them better than they can just by reading a bunch of stuff. So this is just the basics, and I would ask that you maybe help direct them to this if they have any questions about that. Obviously, you can see here they want to see it in Spanish. There it is in Spanish. So they're in dual language. All right, that's a parent guardian resource. This part down here is a new work in progress. I have students, obviously, and have my own children as well as others, but I was trying to process in my mind, how can we help kids make sense of their work in school as they age up, right? And what is it that they want to do after school? And so what this infographic is designed to do is just to help with a very fast, and this is totally a work in progress, but the idea is if I'm a high school student and I want to possibly get some college, this is essentially what my experience can look like. It tells me over here that I don't need an associate's degree, but I should be focusing on relevant high school or dual credit courses. I should consider internship experiences, and I will always have opportunities to receive there are opportunities to receive certifications in high school. Additional part, though, is helping them understand that just because I have some college doesn't mean it needs to end there, that their additional courses can be taken at any time to work towards an associate's degree or obviously towards a bachelor's degree. So I'm not really asking for anything on this. I'm happy to take constructive criticism. If there are things that you're like, no, this is way off, or this is what would really help this resource, I'm totally down for that conversation. So welcome your feedback there. But again, it's just supposed to be designed as a one-pager so we can help parents with conversations at the dinner table about what it looks like for their kid that's coming into high school or is looking forward to going to college. The iLearn Collaborative, which we know is for certified staff who are working towards accruing additional professional development points for recertification. This is where you click on the teacher link to register for the course. That part is, this should essentially be closed because that part is done. I'm not saying you can't register for a course now, but I know courses have already started. I'm going to leave this link on there though, because as we prepare for second semester, we'll be needing to register for additional courses. Details and information about the courses that we offer simply by clicking there. You can look at these options. As you recall, we did add this class for ELL that you can, as a requirement for your 45 hours, it does count toward that. So if you're interested in that course for next semester. Now down to a new part of this, the AI Hub. This is a new part this year. There are resources in here that I haven't necessarily even engaged with, but this is where we're placing things that are of benefit to you as an instructional or district personnel that are here. So help yourself to this area and look around. Obviously, James Hughes is the contact point for this sheet, so feel free to reach out to James if you have questions about that resource or about additional artificial intelligence things. Quickly shifting now to this 186 days of character. This is one of those areas that a historical resource that I've brought from a previous district. There's a whole bunch of lessons in here. I would invite you to give this a look. Obviously, we're getting ready to start October, so let's just dive into October and see what it has. It talks about credit score, protecting yourself, registering to vote, renting versus owning. There's a host of things. Life in the military. These are just simple little lessons. So let's click on this birthday cards idea. This is what it talks about, right? Students make birthday cards for all of their students who have birthdays in October. This talks about the character traits utilized, so on and so forth, right? These lessons are already played out, and they can make it very easy for you to engage with. This was put together by a principal in Mays, I believe it's Mays, Kansas, as part of her doctoral project. So it's a very good resource, and I would invite you to dig into that when time permits. Content by month. Again, if you just wanted to see like what's going on, it's kind of a snapshot. Here's August is about friendship. September is about compassion. October is about respect and then living on your own. And so this kind of tells you day 1, day 2. So this gives you an idea of what you can introduce. Again, these are not designed to be big time hogs. They might make for incredibly smart or quick bell ringers for some of our high school or secondary staff. Moving down, this is obviously where you will see the professional development section. I don't need to talk more about that. Changing the Game project. This is an incredible resource that I came across when I was an athletic director. And it really helped me have some hard conversations with parents about the importance of sport and what sport actually exists to be for. And so I would invite you to learn more about this by clicking here and signing up. If this is of interest to you, you will not be disappointed. Simply click here by joining now, and you can register your email address, and you'll get, they don't really spam you, but you're likely going to get an email maybe once a week or so from Changing the Game. Shifting now to the communication section. This is simply where we can get an email group list. So we know that if we want to send an email to all central office staff, we type in central at Lamar Schools. If we want to send an email to all Alta Vista staff, we type in AVCS at Lamar Schools. That's what this is all about. So I invite you to give that resource a look. You can simply just copy this, right? Copy, and then paste that into something, and you now can email those people. District phone extensions. This is how you get a hold of everybody in the school district and their phones. Relatively straightforward. BoardWorks. Let's get into some curriculum and instruction. Now, we could dive in this for a long, long time. We only have about a minute and 2 minutes left here to go. This is where you log into BoardWorks. We're going to sign in with Google. Just like we have before, this single sign-on stuff makes things really happy or really simple. Here we have it. That's how BoardWorks looks. Colorado Academic Standards, I'll let you look at that on your own. Here's where you check out high school and middle school sports schedules. So if you want to see what's going on, a simple click there. I'm going to have some district projects information coming soon. Social media, this is obviously Gab does a wonderful job with our posting of some fantastically positive things across the district, and I know each building also does a remarkable job. That's probably one of the things I'm most excited about, is how good we are being at pouring on the positive. So thank you all. New staff accommodations. If you have interest in having an accommodation at your campus, this is a new link for you to use. We're going to have an affirmative action plan that's coming soon. Here's our in-service calendar that we can click on to learn more about what we're doing at each of these sessions that I'm going to be at. Here's some quick information I want to draw your attention to. CEBT, our health insurance, SIDSIP, our school district information. This is where we do our vector portal training, and this is all sorts of information. If you know you're going in for some sort of a surgery and you want to figure out what I can do, what's the right place for me to go, the Healthcare Blue Book is a great place to start. Technology resources, this is where we submit a ticket. This is ideas to help your kids becoming engaged when you start your classes. Transportation, that's how we do those. Student motivation, there's just a very simple thing. What's going on in this picture? Here's our frontline information that I know we've used before. Here's financial information. So when you get your email saying your paycheck is there, this is the information. This is how you basically dial it in to access that. There's about 20 seconds left to go. I don't want to take the rest. I don't want to screw this up too bad. So thank you guys again for your attention. I want to keep this resource in front of you every week to make it as beneficial as possible. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.